Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring a truly mind-bending intersection of knowledge. We're talking about a space where thousands of years of ancient traditional medicine crash headfirst into the high-tech, hyper-rigorous world of modern cancer research. We are looking at Tulsi and how modern oncology is literally starting to decode its ancient secrets. It's a pretty bold question, right? Can a sacred ancient herb actually fight modern cancer? I mean, it sounds a bit like sci-fi. But as researchers scramble to find new ways to combat incredibly complex diseases, they're increasingly pointing their microscopes at traditional remedies to see what ancient practitioners might have known all along. Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly what the science is uncovering. So, the plant in question is Ocimum sanctum, widely known as holy basil, or simply Tulsi. It's actually a member of the mint family, the Lamiaceae family, and grows all over the Indian subcontinent. But this isn't just something you toss in a stir-fry. It is deeply, deeply embedded in the rich history of Ayurveda, the traditional medicine system of India. For centuries, healers have used it to treat chronic inflammation, respiratory issues, digestive ailments, you name it. And to really wrap your head around its historical pedigree, you just have to look at how the ancient Ayurvedic texts talk about it. They literally call holy basil the incomparable one. They don't just view it as a pillar of herbal medicine. It's described as a goddess incarnated in plant form. It is, without a doubt, one of India's most cherished and sacred healing plants. In Ayurveda, Tulsi is classified as a rasayana. Basically, a rasayana is a rejuvenating herb. It's fundamentally believed to promote longevity, restore balance in the body, and just enhance your overall well-being. But the big question we're asking today is, how does this concept of rejuvenation translate when we pull this plant out of the ancient texts and put it under the harsh fluorescent lights of a modern laboratory? Section 1, the phytochemical arsenal, nature's tactical weapons. Transitioning from the legend to the lab, we start to see Tulsi not as some mystical herb, but as a highly evolved biological operative. Holy basil is essentially a deep reservoir of bioactive compounds. It's got 4 main tactical weapons natively packed into its leaves and essential oils. First up is eugenol, a phenolic compound that's a powerful anti-inflammatory and actually inhibits tumor cell growth. Second, ursolic acid. This triterpenoid is essentially a trigger for apoptosis, which is the programmed death of cancer cells. Third, we have rosmarinic acid, a phenomenal antioxidant that helps suppress tumor-associated inflammation. And lastly, apigenin, which plays a massive role in stopping cancer cells from hiding from the immune system. For anyone into integrative health, this is huge. It's a multi-targeted approach to fighting complex diseases, all naturally packaged in a single plant. Section 2. Cellular sabotage, triggering cancer cell death. Now, what's really interesting about this is how precisely these phytochemicals execute their combat strategies. You see, cancer cells are notoriously stubborn. They absolutely refuse to die. They just ignore the body's natural signals to self-destruct. But Tulsi compounds, especially ursolic acid, basically force the issue. They activate pro-apoptotic proteins, things like Bax and caspases, which are essentially the executioners of the cell. And at the exact same time, they actively dial down the proteins the cancer uses as a shield, like BCL2 and survivin. Even better, they modulate cell cycle regulators, meaning they mess with cyclins and CDKs to hit the brakes on cancer cell division, completely arresting growth. It's this beautifully coordinated molecular takedown of a tumor's resilience. But killing the cell directly isn't their only trick. Consider anti-angiogenesis. For a tumor to grow and spread, it desperately needs a supply line. It needs new blood vessels. To get them, the tumor releases signaling molecules, primarily VEGF, tricking the body into building that new infrastructure. And here is where Tulsi steps in. Extracts containing eugenol and rosmarinic acid actively block that VEGF expression. They suppress the hypoxia-inducible factors. By stopping the proliferation of those blood vessel cells, the herb essentially cuts off the supply lines. The tumor starves. Section 3. Boosting the immune defense. Removing the cloak of invisibility. Beyond directly attacking and starving the tumor, Tulsi also acts as an elite immune recruiter. Because tumors, they are incredibly deceptive. They create these microenvironments that actually suppress our immune system. They literally hijack our own immune cells, specifically our macrophages. Tumors absolutely love M2 macrophages, an immunosuppressive phenotype that actually supports tumor progression. They act like the tumor's personal bodyguards. M1 macrophages, on the other hand, are the tumor killers. The brilliant thing here is that holy basil phytochemicals, particularly rosmarinic acid, have been shown to reprogram these hijacked macrophages. They literally flip the switch, turning them from the tumor-promoting M2 phenotype right back into the tumor-killing M1 phenotype. And this brilliantly illustrates how deep this immune modulation really goes. It directly alters the cytokine environment, the chemical messengers of our immune system. We see eugenol actively decreasing pro-inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha and IL-6, which are known to drive chronic inflammation and fuel tumor progression. Simultaneously, ursolic acid pumps up the anti-tumor cytokines like interferon gamma and IL-12, enhancing our T-cell immunity. So it's essentially calming the harmful chronic inflammation while simultaneously sounding the alarm for the body's natural defense forces to attack. Section 4. Current Studies and Challenges. The Reality Check. Okay, as incredible as all this cellular biology is, we do need to zoom out of the petri dish and look at the real, current landscape of clinical oncology. The reality check is that translating these amazing lab results into actual human treatments is incredibly complex. First off, we face poor bioavailability. That means when you consume it, your body struggles to absorb enough of the active compounds to actually reach therapeutic levels in the bloodstream. Second is standardization. Because it's a plant, the chemical concentration varies wildly depending on how and where it was grown. Third, we are still relying heavily on preclinical models, mice and cell cultures, rather than large human trials. And finally, we urgently need to map out how these compounds interact synergistically with standard chemotherapy and radiation. But science is not standing still on this. The future of this plant in integrative oncology is going to rely heavily on cutting-edge tech. Researchers are looking hard at nanotechnology to create formulations that package these phytochemicals into tiny, highly bioavailable delivery systems that can bypass digestive hurdles and target tumors directly. They're also exploring precision, biomarker-driven approaches. Basically, they want to figure out exactly which patients with which specific tumor genetic profiles will respond best to these specific herbal compounds. So the crucial points and the current scientific consensus is this. Further large-scale clinical trials are absolutely needed to establish its role as an adjunct in cancer therapy. We cannot replace proven conventional treatments with a plant just yet, but its potential as an adjunct therapy, a powerful supporting player working alongside conventional treatments to boost immunity, cut down inflammation, and enhance tumor suppression, that is immensely promising. Which leaves us with this final thought for today's explainer. As we bridge the gap with futuristic advances like nanotechnology, could this ancient rasayana, this incomparable one, used for thousands of years in Ayurveda, actually become a foundational element of tomorrow's precision oncology? It's a perfect example of how looking way back into our human history might just hold the key to our future health. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this helped unpack these incredible scientific concepts for you. Keep learning and keep asking questions.